This video is intended to describe a full spectrum stationary travel size mainframe mount. And joining me today will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map, which I'll be using for chakra stimulation Q. And before I discuss the crystalline composition, I'll discuss the primary intention of the device seen before us to have a function of actually grounding into in-house ground. So basically, before anything goes any further, the concept of the Himalayan salt lamp being illuminated and heated by a classic incandescent bulb, not LED to be very specific, to actually generate heat, is of the essence for this intentional design's threshold fulfillments being required. So the heat of the Himalayan salt is illuminated, which works to purify and charge this entire closed-loop sequence before the algae clip seen right here is grounded into the primary wire that is easily exposed for this exact purpose around the perimeter of the candle, which goes into this wire, which most importantly goes into a outlet ground seen right here. And so why that's quite critical and important is that all outlets in a space are all tied together on a common wire, which goes into a copper rod driven somewhere in the premise, oftentimes 8 feet long, by code of any modern electrical engineering housing, to have the safe discharge of all excess energy, particularly if lightning strikes a roof, for example, to discharge and dissipate the energy. So all the outlets in any given space this is taken to will be conjoined to run into the earth. So at that way, of course, it works as all the outlets piloting this frequency through the entire structure of the house actually makes a tangible containment field to run this energy through all of the outlets that are in the perimeter of any kind of given space. Hotels, Airbnbs, for example, houses. If it's up to code in modern timeline of electrical engineering, it will have this feature of a safety ground by law. So of course the big idea too is that this entire perpetuated circuitry of this device is being purified at the highest octave possible, then running its circuitry, then going into the house ground to make it a travel size mainframe to generate a tremendous transmutation through the entire space utilizing engineering of electrical code up to everything else. I think I did a pretty good job describing that part thus far. So I'll get into the crystalline composition. The very perimeter right here, the very top, would be the transmutation ratio. Starting off with hematite to be a very strong grounding of all excess energy through the root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing, in tandem with smoky quartz, fulfilling the same vibratory function of taking all excess energy and firmly grounding it through the root into the earth stars, into the earth for reprocessing, to work as a tremendous etheric energetic dialysis of energy by constantly grounding into the earth at a very rapid rate. Then conjoined with tourmalated quartz, which actually is clear quartz with bolts of black tourmaline in there. So the clear quartz works as a nice natural accelerant of the circuitry right here to intensify the entire energy circuit. But the black tourmaline in there also works as a natural amplification of black tourmaline, much like smoky quartz, quite famous black gray crystal, to ground all excess energy through the entire root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth for reprocessing. So it's another layer of etheric purification is highly intensified. On one wire is brass for the yang, fiery output, while the other one is actually on silver to be the yin, receptive. So that's a way of course, having a positive and a negative frequency current for both the output and input of the same purification ratio. Then right here will be a full spectrum power pack with wood right here from Sedona, Arizona. And the reason why it's a full spectrum power pack is based on the fact that rutilated quartz is the main accelerant of the energy of the full 7 rays, plus hematite to further ground the sequence. So rutilated quartz makes this a massive intensification of whatever frequency is going through it, starting off with ruby, the quintessential root chakra stimulant, rutilated quartz into carnelian, a lovely orange ray sacrum stimulant of ancient Egyptian utilization that stimulates the solar plexus, sacrum, and base chakra, rutilated quartz going into tiger's eye, which is well concealed by the wiring that's actually holding it together at this point. But tiger's eye is a fantastic solar plexus stimulant, as well as an aligner of the sacrum and base chakras. Rutilated quartz into peridot, A fantastic third and fourth chakra stimulant of abundance and growth, essentially the frequency of chlorophyll caught in crystalline structure. Root to 8 quartz into emerald, the famous green ray heart chakra stimulant of great abundance and quite famous and well utilized esoterically across the world. Root to 8 quartz into its cousin, aquamarine, of the same family as emerald, being a fantastic water elemental fourth and fifth chakra stimulant. Then root to 8 quartz into blue sapphire, a very famous royal stimulant of the fifth and sixth chakras. Then root to 8 quartz into lapis lazuli, much like blue sapphire, fantastic ancient Egyptian esoteric utilized crystal right here to stimulate the fifth and sixth chakras as well. Then root to 8 quartz into the classic famous amethyst, the quintessential violet ray crown chakra stimulant. Then root to 8 quartz, then into hematite to further ground this full spectrum engagement through the sequence of grounding this entire 7 rays further. Then into root to 8 quartz to intensify the sequence between the hematite right here, and so on till it completes its sequence. Then the very top of this power pack is actually Tibetan black quartz, a fantastic master healer that is very famous for stimulating the entire higher chakras as well as luckily grounding the lower chakras. It also comes from Tibet and is a fantastic full light body stimulant in its own right to dismantle patterns of dis-ease. Then next to that would be a larger dose of tourmalated quartz seen up here to be a further intensification of the purification, which can work like an etheric vacuum cleaner. Which is pretty self-evident with the concept here, is that when you plug in this entire apparatus into a house ground, and then the energy is wide open throttle, it can work like an etheric vacuum cleaner that runs through the entirety of any given space the recipient finds themselves in to employ this guy. And also the practitioner is actually quite the traveler who's receiving this, so this will be very helpful to bring to hotels, houses, Airbnbs, you name it. A very practical utilitarian energy background generator to be quite condensed in travel size. And the main heart of this entire device right here would be this lovely Lemurian clear quartz to serve as the neutral engine, if you would, or heart of the device to be the neutral program carrier. Then right here is selenite. Selenite by itself is a very fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulant that is fantastic for connecting one's conscious self to one's higher self, Godhead, which is already a very fantastic disposition to maintain with a frequency overlap. Then the aspect also of being such a high frequency induction works to burn off stagnant energies from top to bottom that are divisitory of nature. But the aspect where it truly shines in its construct is taking this entire frequency pitch mentioned thus far and amplifying all of them together, then harmonizing all these frequencies together, as well as intensifying and bringing purification to the entire vibratory output, which is very useful to, once again, get grounded through a house space. Then right here is black kyanite. Black kyanite is the most rapid transfer of energy in the mineral kingdom to rapidly ground energy through the entire chakra column, through the base chakra, into the earth stars, into the earth very quickly. The big idea of this device is a light-duty travel-size mainframe, is to rapidly transfer this energy through a whole space very quickly into the earth to bring a very tangible, rapid transmutation of the space to maintain idyllic configuration or idyllic energy background stimulation for the recipient on her travels. And that would be the entirety of the crystalline composition under 10 minutes, to my surprise. So, circling back to the entire concept is that this is indeed a very small device that's very easy to travel with, for example, which is the whole purpose being a light-duty, small mainframe generator that's stationary mount to be able to plug into any space the recipient finds themselves in and to, of course, bring a strong purification and, most importantly, utilize the tangibility of all the outlets in one space grounded together to make a containment field of energy this whole thing runs through with this device at purified wide open throttle to bring a very powerful transmutation of energy as well as a full spectrum activation through the entire structure to be very balanced and very even background frequency that's very idyllic for good energy, quite simply. Well, Thousand blessings, and may the force be with us all.